Today, I'm going to share 7 tips that I wish I had given myself a few years ago when I was just starting my journey as an artist, but most likely they'll be helpful for many of you as well, especially if you're just beginning to grow your art business or dream of turning creativity into a profession. So get comfortable. I hope this video saves you months of trial and error. Number 1, start with the basics. Work in series. It's very important to develop the mindset of working in series from the beginning. What does that mean? You don't create just one artwork, but several that are connected by a common theme. That means you should have 10 or more pieces that are similar in theme, texture, or color. Think of it like Chanel releasing a collection. Or any store, really. They have a whole line, not just one dress. It's important for the client to have options. When artworks are linked, they create a cohesive impression. The viewer understands that you have artistic logic, a style, a signature, and that builds trust. You can paint 1 or 2 large pieces, a couple of medium ones, and complement everything with small works. This creates a sense of completeness and helps the client choose what suits them best. Number 2, I would have started painting on canvas. Of course, it depends on your medium, but canvas is great because you can exhibit it without a frame. It already looks presentable. And if you do add a frame, you don't need to put glass over it like with paper. That's a saving. It's easier and cheaper. And when I say canvas, I mean canvas by the roll, not pre-stretched. It's sold by the meter like fabric or paper. It's much more convenient. A roll like that costs about $200 to $300 for a large amount, and it lasts a long time. You simply paint on it, roll it up, and take it wherever. Super handy if you're working abroad, moving, or sending your art to an exhibition. Just don't forget to leave enough space around the artwork, extra margin on the edges. You'll need it to stretch the piece on a frame at least 5 to 7 centimeters on each side. Very important to plan ahead. Number 3, start with small works. First, they're easy to transport and cheap to frame. Also, small works are easier to sell, especially if you're just starting out and your audience isn't ready to buy large canvases. It's a great way to test your style, see what resonates with people, and not invest too many resources into one piece. Later, you can add medium or large pieces to enrich the series visually, but it's best to begin with miniatures. And it really doesn't matter if you're working on canvas or paper, because small sizes mean low-cost materials, paper, glass, frame. I know some artists don't even put glass on paperworks. Maybe it's fine. I haven't done that myself yet, so I can't say how practical it is, but at the very least, it gives you freedom to experiment and just start with what's accessible and easy. For example, I painted a series with penguins. They're small and cozy. You can hang them literally anywhere. Kitchen, hallway, even a kid's room. That's the strength of small works. They're universal and fit into any space. Number 4, always take good photos of finished works. The classic photo is frame-free against a white wall. This is what's called a product shot. Clean light, no shadows or distortions. That's key. This is the minimum every piece should have. Don't be lazy. Maybe even hire a professional photographer to shoot details like brush strokes. It's best to invest in a pro shoot, especially if you plan to sell or make prints. Trust me, one high-quality photo shoot can serve you for years. High-res photos can be used for reproductions, prints, posters. If you shoot them well from the start, they become a foundation for passive income. Number 5, always use quality materials. Otherwise, your reputation handling your artwork will suffer. Believe me, a client won't care that you couldn't afford good paint at the time. They'll just see that the piece faded or cracked after a year, and they won't buy again. Even if you can't afford much now, it's better to make 3 quality works than 10 bad ones. Number 6, if you like photography, buy a simple camera. A camera will always shoot better than any phone, especially in terms of depth, texture, and light. Even if you are not a pro, a camera opens new possibilities. Your photos will look cleaner and more professional. I, for example, have a professional camera. I don't use it as often as I'd like, but I'll be honest. When I need portraits of myself, I'm more comfortable shooting alone. I find it hard to relax in front of others. I don't like posing, but when I shoot myself, I feel natural and calm. As for detail, brush strokes, textures, small fragments, those can totally be shot on a phone. Especially if it's just for Instagram, no need to chase ultra high quality. But think ahead. If you plan to build a website, make a catalog, or print products, You'll definitely need high quality photos. Better to have them ready than rush to reshoot everything later. It's an investment in your professional image. Number 7. Curate your Instagram. I recommend apps like Feed Preview. They help you plan how your feed will look visually. It's like your personal online museum. There should be logic, consistency, rhythm, style. Keep it clean, neat, and stylish. Personally, I delayed this step, but I plan to work with an SMM specialist to bring my profile into a cohesive style. Because here's the truth, even if a collector, curator, or gallery discovers you tomorrow and checks your profile, if it looks unprofessional, chaotic, or messy, that first impression can ruin everything. Same with advertising. Many artists make the mistake of running ads without preparing their page. When new people come to you, they'll notice the weak spots first. Poor photos, messy feed, no structure. So ideally, your Instagram should be ready before you try to attract attention. It's your online portfolio. People should visit and immediately feel this is a serious artist. I hope my advice was helpful. And if you'd like to add something, share your experience, or maybe you learned something new, please feel free to comment below. Your words might help other emerging artists save time, money, and energy. Everything we do together. Together, we are a team.